Hi there, it's Lisa from Imagination Crafts here, and I'm going to show you a lovely little technique today and a beautiful card made using Imagination Crafts products. And the products I'm going to use are the gorgeous flower stencil. It's a beautiful stencil background. This is actually slightly thicker because it's an embossable, this one, so you can actually emboss it as well. You can emboss all the stencils, but it gives you a nice deep emboss with this one. I'm going to use the lovely Art Stamp script stamp. You can see this is a great favourite of mine and Sue's. We're using it all the time. Also as well, I'm going to be using the Lily stamp, the Art Stamps Lily stamp again, another one of my favourites, and our gorgeous mixed media ink spray. So this time I'm going to use the fuchsia and the blue, and they're going to create a beautiful background. So I'm going to start off first of all by taking a piece of watercolour card, and I'm going to place that into my spritz tray. Then I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to pop that on top. And what I'm actually going to do this time is I'm going to spritz through the stencil onto the watercolour card, but I'm actually going to create two different looks with this, because we get one look that we're creating through the card, and then I'm actually going to use another piece of card to put it on top, and it's actually the background piece that I'm going to use on my card. So I'm going to start off first of all taking some of the blue and starting to spritz through the stencil, so just randomly spritzing here and there. And then I'm going to take some of the pink mixed media spray and I'm going to pop that in between. Again, randomly spritzing. Let's do a tiny bit more of the blue just to bring that back through. So you can see I've put quite a bit of ink on there and it's lovely and bright. Look at those beautiful bright colours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to take off the underneath stencil, and you get a really lovely watercolour impression of the stencil. Can you see that? So it gives you a lovely watercolour impression. We're going to pop that one aside and I'm going to use that for a different project. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my stencil in place, take another piece of watercolour card, and I'm just going to pop that on top of the stencil, and I'm just going to very softly take my fingers over the top and just push that down. So taking the edge of it and bringing it up, you can see we get this lovely little dotty background with a lovely watercolour image. And again, I'm going to pop that aside because I've got one that I've done earlier, slightly more vibrant. Let's bring that up to the camera. This one's dried. Can you see we get this lovely little watercolour washed background, but we've still got the stencil coming through there. And I love this technique because it's quite hit and miss, and I just love the randomness of it. So that's going to be my background, and then I'm going to add some detail onto it. So I'm going to bring the Art Stamp script stamp in, and I'm going to ink up with VersaFine Black Onyx. Again, it's one of my favourites, very, very juicy pad, and as we said before, it captures all the fine detail, does what it says on the pad. So just inking up, and then I'm going to take the stamp, make sure I've got it the right way around, and I'm just going to randomly stamp down the edges. Now one lovely thing with this stamp is that you can line it up to make borders. So I'm just going to start at the top and bring it off, and you can see we've got a lovely little edge. Can you see that lovely little edge down the side of our piece? So again, I'm going to repeat it. So I'm going to ink up again, and so that we don't get a lot of shaking on the camera, I keep forgetting, I'm going to ink it in my hands. So what we can then do is line up with the next piece of script, the one that we've already stamped, line up the next piece underneath so that we get a continuous border. Can we see that? There we go. You've got a continuous border of that lovely script going on the background there. So again, I'm just going to repeat this on the other side. So taking the script to the opposite side and stamping that one. And I just love the randomness of this, because this script it's not all lined up together. If you have a look at it, you can see that there's breaks in it. So it goes in and out, and I love the randomness of this. It really is a beautiful stamp to work with. So lining up again, just going to the bottom, and you can see we end up with this beautiful stamped edge to our card. What a lovely background that makes. So we're going to pop that one aside. So that's my background done for the card. Let's have a little quick clean up in between. So I'm just going to take that bit of ink out the way. And then take a bit of kitchen towel. There we go, and we're ready to go. So again, I'm going to bring back my spritzing. Let's take these bits off of there, out the way, and bring back another bit of kitchen towel, just so that you can see what we're doing. And I'm going to put my small piece into the box. Now, sticking with the same colours that I worked with before, so I'm going to take the blue first of all. So this is the Mix Media light blue ink spray, and I'm just going to mist across on a diagonal so that I get half of the card spritzed in blue. Then I'm going to repeat with the pink on the other half. And as they blend, you get this beautiful lilac. And that's what I love about our mixed media inks. When they blend, they create other colours. So you can end up with 3, 4, 5 colours, but end up with about 10 colours at the end of it, because you can mix and do lots of other colours. So you can see that's given us a lovely, let me bring that up, a lovely little blend. Okay, so again, I'm going to pop that aside, and I've got one that I've done earlier, and this is slightly more vibrant. You can see there's a bit more fuchsia going on there as well, but it works with the background that I've pre-done. So what I'm going to do now is bring the lily stamping. So again, it's our lovely art stamps, and I'm going to start inking it up, and again remembering to take it in my hands so that we don't get that shaky camera. Really give it a good ink. Okay, when you're using negative stamps, you really do want to ink up the background nice and juicy so that you're going to cover it. So what I tend to do is I change the angle of the stamp and just ink up for a second time. So we've got a nice bit of ink going on there. Now, to aid me, I'm going to bring in my little stamping mat again. And as Sue said on one of the earlier demos, if you haven't got that, you can use a pile of magazines. Anything that's going to have a little bit of give in it, it's going to help you. So I'm just going to line that up on top. And I'm going to press nice and firmly. So I'm just going to stand for this to get a lovely impression. There we go, let's have a look at that. Okay, so we've got a lovely impression there. So you can see that beautiful colour coming through. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some embossing powder, and I'm just going to pop that on top. So this is our detail embossing powder. You can see we've got rather a lot here, but we do a lot of demonstrations, as you realise. So we need a bigger pot to work with. So I'm just going to knock the excess off. And as we all know, we put that back in the pot because we don't waste anything. And then I'm going to take my heat gun, and let's take my scissors just to hold that. And we're going to start at one end, get it nice and hot, and then you can see as that goes. And what I love about the art stamps is that you get little speckles in between, so you get a bit of a sketchy background where you can see the colour coming through the background in little speckles, and it just looks so lovely. Really does look attractive. And you know, normally to get that sort of background with stamps and things, you've got to work at it. You know, you've got to half stamp something, or you've got to, you know, do it not on a block so that you're doing it freehand. But with the art stamps, they do it very, very easily. They make your job a lot easier to do. So there we go. So let me show you that. Look how gorgeous that is. We've got the lovely bit of pink, we've got that glossy embossed look on top, and then we've got the lovely bit of pink from the bottom bursting up into blue. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So let me show you the finished card. When we put the pieces all together, I've just popped it onto a purple card and I've matted it with some purple and black card. And look how lovely that is. So we've got the lovely spritz background with that hint of stencil. We've got the gorgeous scripting down the side, and then we've got the lovely lily in the centre. It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon.